The 1990 Hungry Jacks NBL All-Stars is brought to you by Mazda, the Swan Brewery, HBF and Hungry Jacks.
Set up for a super finish.
The Stars are out to shine in Perth. It's basketball party time. With the Australian Boomers away in Argentina, the spotlight tonight is on some of the more flamboyant players as they strut their stuff in the clash of the 1990 Hungry Jacks National Basketball League All-Stars. Stand by then for a feast of slammin' and jammin' from some of the best in the business, backed up by the best exponents of the three-point bomb and the spectacular assist. Across Australia on the 7 Network and in regional Western Australia on the Golden West Network, a very, very warm welcome to the Perth Entertainment Centre. The Stars are certainly out tonight and out to shine. This is the Hungry Jacks NBL 1990 All-Stars game. There's going to be some slamming and jamming going on. There's a bit of a tradition building behind these All-Star games. The man largely responsible for it is NBL General Manager Bill Palmer with me tonight. Bill, good to see you back in Perth and great to have the All-Stars in Perth.
Yes, it is. It's always lovely to be back in Perth, and it is an honour for Perth to get the All-Star game. First time we've held it outside of Melbourne. Perth was a natural. They have so many things going with the Wildcats. It's a Hollywood game, and this is Hollywood over here in the NBL. So,
well, as I said, third annual now. North and South won all.
Yes, North and South won all. There's a bit to prove out there. And All-Star games are funny. They aren't as artificial as they look because they're really out there, as we see highlights from last year. A lot of pride at stake, as we saw in the game last year.
Well, just some of the highlights, and of course tonight some great players lining up on each side. Bill, let's just talk about the matchup, shall we?
Yes, it's interesting. I think that when we look at the South team, they're the bigger team. They're lining up with Shane Heel at point guard. He'll be guarded by Derek Rucker on the other side, so he'll have a big task in that one. Rucker, the leading top scorer in the league. Lockhart, Colbert, Simmons, and Moore will complete the lineup for the South team. And we look at the other way, we see those matchups on the North. McGeechan will pick up Lockhart. McGeechan about to play his 300th game, first player to do so in the NBL. Mark Dalton guarding David Colbert. Andre Moore picking up Simmons, and the big boys in the middle, Utah and Taylor. A lot of meat around the key in this game.
Well, there's going to be some slamming and jamming, some awful body work under the basket, I would think.
There'll be a lot. What these games do, the offense always has the advantage in these games because it doesn't take that much to get the offense together. Defense suffers a little bit because it takes a little bit more fine-tuning. They've only had one training session, so it'll be a high-scoring game.
I'm just wondering how a coach talks defense to blokes like this. Well, we'll find out very shortly. The men in charge of this game, what a job they have, Eddie Crouch and Bill Mildenhall. Eddie Crouch, the first person in the NBL to officiate or participate in 300 games, and Bill Mildenhall has just become the first Australian official to handle a gold medal game in a World Championship at the Women's World Championships in Kuala Lumpur last month. We'll be back with all of the action the other side of this break.
Hi, I'm Derek Rucker from the Brisbane Bullets. Tonight I'll be playing on the north side. You can watch me mixing it up with Shane Hill from Geelong after the break.
If you lose your home, everything you own.
Are we with HBF?
Ain't that a shame?
HBF, may I help you?
Still, you're not to blame.
What a shame, what a shame.
Ain't that a shame?
What a shame, what a shame.
Call HBF and
This is
claim.
fantastic.
If your car gets bent, more than just
Look what you've done to my truck.
a dent.
Look what you've done to my truck.
Are we with HBF?
Ain't that a shame?
HBF, may I help you? It looks terrific. HBF, fantastic.
We'll ease the pain.
HBF Home and Car Insurance.
Ain't that a shame? Just call our name. HBF Home and Car Insurance.
Phone.
HBF Home and Car Insurance.
Right away.
With the jock down. We're gonna rock. Masters rock with the chocolate. Everybody knows the chocolate milk comes from a chocolate cow. We're gonna rock with the chocolate all summer long. We're gonna rock Masters chocolate. Let's rock. Boom, boom.
Charles, Laura, I'll be having a guest for dinner tonight. Something special. How about your spicy beef? You know, marinated in soy, chili and ginger.
It must be hard to get good help these days.
Yeah, must be. Thanks, Charlie.
7 brings you the hit movies. I love you. Mix Tom Cruise with Brian Brown and you have Cocktail. Richard Dreyfuss, Emilio Estevez.
Get out of the house.
Stakeout, Robin Williams' smash hit.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Bond is back in the living daylights. Cameron Daddo is the new Bone. Plus, a new Australian miniseries. David McCubbin and Annie Jones in Jackaroo. And Farrah Fawcett in Poor Little Rich Girl.
The place to be.
And welcome back to the Entertainment Centre in Perth. Everything is set. Let's go courtside for the starting fives.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting fives. First of all, the starting five for the Hungry Jacks NBL North All-Stars. First up, number 7, Derek Rucker. Number 12, Mark Dalton. Number 15, Herb McKeechan. Number 41, Andre Moore. Number 42, Storman Norman Taylor. Coaches Bob Turner and Brian Curl. And now the starting five for the Hungry Jacks NBL South All-Stars. First up, number 12, Dean Utah. Wearing number 14, Dave Colbert. Number 23, Shane Heal. Number 25, David Simmons. And 31, Kent Lockhart. The coaches, Lindsay Gaze and Brian Georgian.
Well, we've seen the starting fives, and Bill Palmer, there's a lot more talent on these benches. Wouldn't a coach love to have a bench like that?
Yes, it's the case. You look down the bench and you have some hard decisions to make. A lot of coaches have hard decisions to make because they don't want to put anybody, and now they have a hard decision to make because everybody deserves to be in.
Well, we spoke at the opening about offense and defense. It'll be interesting to see just how this game tips off.
Fellas. Well, I know 2 years ago the first score was a thundering slam dunk, so we'll see how we get out here.
Utah. Shane Hill for the south side. See him during the halftime break in action in the three-point shootout. Here's the snake, Herb McKeechan. Stops and props, and there's the first two.
Pretty straightforward transition from a mistake. The teams will be a little bit stupefied on offense because they don't know each other's moves, but once they warm up, it'll be pretty spectacular.
You mean when they start having fun? Simmons, two at the other end. And the south side certainly the beefier of the two, Bill. What part is that going to play?
Depends where the game, what pace the game is played at and where the ball gets to. There's Utah dribbling up the court. He doesn't do that too often. Simmons, Lockhart behind his back. He was fouled.
And foul.
Eddie Crouch.
12. 2. First foul on the game is on number 12, which is Mark Dalton. And we'll see here, good fast break. Lockhart going under the basket. Dalton protecting the ball, probably didn't need to foul. That was going to be a real hope shot from Lockhart, but instead he goes to the foul shot. Fouled in the act of shooting, gets 2.
Well, this is a lot of fun for the players, but it's ops normal for the referees tonight, isn't it?
Well, it's interesting. You think, well, this is an exhibition match. You watch the coaches, how they get up and get right into it right away.
McEachin, Rucker. Lockett matching up on him. Heel comes across to help out. Dalton now. Taylor, probably the heaviest man on the court, makes 2.
Overload on one side. The South defense concentrated a bit too much on the ball that time. Lockhart with a 17-footer doesn't go, and Moore, boy, snaffles that one in.
They enjoyed that. Derek Rucker once again. Lockhart again with the defensive matchup. Andre Moore misses, and away comes Heel for the South side. Colbert off the glass, thumped out by Dalton. McEachin to the right of Rucker, goes himself baseline, banks it off the glass. Shane Heel tidies up.
Rucker took one look at Dean Uthoff in there, a quick transition the other way. Colbert makes amends for his missed layup last time down the floor. Fast game, David.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how long the pace is maintained.
Well, I don't know that the fast pace won't help the North team. They've got the more running type players. As we said, the South really has the meat, and it takes a lot of energy to haul those bodies up and down the court.
Taylor grabs the offensive board, little help from the rim, and eventually it goes in.
It's interesting, the Americans sometimes, like David Simmons, once the ball is on the ring, you can touch it. In America, of course, that's goaltending, but Simmons could have gone up and plucked that one out.
Rather than going through the net. Lockett, Simmons again, some imposing sights under the basket. Taylor slapping at Uthoff.
Uthoff said, what was that?
2, 1.
Yeah, so Dean Uthoff, he had his hands like a vice around the ball. Yeah, that was a good hit, too. Uthoff kept a hold of it. A little continuation advantage given that time.
When you get both of Dean Uthoff's hands around the ball, there isn't much leather left, is there?
No, not much leather, not much orange showing through. So Uthoff made the 2 points, fouled in the act of shooting, gets another one, he misses it.
Rucker, ball carrier again. No shortage of ball carriers on the north side, the side wearing blue tonight. McEachin over the top. Lockett comes away with it. Simmons in his own lane.
Welcome to the Hungry Jacks All-Star game. David Simmons takes that ball, nearly took off from the foul line, burst through 2 people. That's all-star material, that.
And there's money in slam dunks tonight as well. Lockett got the intercept, managed to keep the ball in play. Uthoff, not so. Dalton, Moore in the middle. McEachin, as they set it up again.
Rucker really controlling the pace and keeping the ball in his hand. Good dish inside Taylor. Uthoff backed well off of him that time. Very important, I think, for the South team to work on Rucker a little bit, because he is really going to try and dictate the offensive patterns out there. And if you can make him work hard, make him bring up the ball, perhaps then you can get it in somebody else's hands who's not quite as effective as him.
Uthoff, Heel, 3-point attempt. Doesn't go. He put a few of those in earlier tonight. McEachin around Heel, faced then by Simmons, and draws the foul.
2, 5. 2.
First foul for Dave Simmons. McEachin will go to the line. We spoke about ball carriers, no shortage in the north side. The south side, Shane Hill could have some work to do tonight.
Yes, I think so. Benny Lewis and some of the other guard types on the South team really aren't used to being ball carriers, and Hill is the only confirmed ball carrier on the team, although with Uthoff in there and some of the other big fellas, they throw the ball to half court half the time, so not much used for a ball carrier, but this time it is Hill bringing the ball up.
9 points apiece. Lockett, McEachin in his face. Baseline finds Simmons. Colbert, the Melbourne Tigers teammates. Uthoff turns on Taylor. That's a tough basket to make.
Uthoff's offensive skills have improved markedly under Coach Brian Gorgian. He is now a threat, and he wants the ball, and he knows what to do it when he gets it. He and Moore are 2 of the best shooters in the league percentage-wise, and they're guarding each other at the moment.
McEachin, the pick set by Taylor, doesn't go though. Dalton. Taylor, strong under the basket again. Put off by Simmons. Good defensive work. Bounce pass finds Heel. Simmons is alongside him. Eventually gets the ball. Tough to turn in there. Sandwiched by McEachin and Moore. And has drawn the foul.
15.
That's the first foul on Moore. Reasonably low foul count, David. We see that the South team has really had tremendous offensive transition. They're getting up. They're getting that advantage. In that case, you can see the 3 gold shirts and only the 2 blue back.
The cheer you can hear from the crowd is for Perth's James Crawford. Coming into the game along with Benny Lewis, Lockett and Heel checking out for some time on the bench.
So Simmons was fouled in the act of shooting. He gets 2 foul shots. Simmons, with his cat-like quickness, really belies his bulk, and he is really dynamite in the open court and doesn't need much of an opening to get through.
A great asset for the Melbourne side this year. Along with Dave Colbert, the double Ds. Rucker. Benny Lewis with him. More to set the pick. Not effective. Utah. Outlet finds Simmons. Rucker behind him tried the steal. Lewis, rather. Benny Lewis, tough basket. Did it well.
Utah is really blocking up the middle and getting the ball out quickly. You see Rucker taking the 3-point. Utah chasing the rebound again. There's another baseball pass. Colbert dishes up to teammate Simmons, who blows the lay-in.
Unlucky. Moore now. Some quick transition, finished off brilliantly by Andre Moore.
Well, the coaches have the luxury. They can play 10 players. They can all play, so it'll be like this pace the whole way as Colbert tries a 3, misses. Simmons tips it out. Utah battling with Moore, still battling with Moore. Moore finally comes out with it and dribbles it up.
It was more like volleyball than basketball for a minute, off the hands of Colbert, seen by Eddie Crouch. Well, it's a substitution for the north side now. Mark Leader checking in for Herb McEachin.
What an incredible pace these teams are setting out there. And it's what I said, there's a lot of pride, and boy, I tell you, they're spilling on the ball, chasing it all the time. Utah kicks it inbounds. He's playing an excellent game, Dean Utah, at both ends of the floor so far.
He's very, very agile for one his size, the man Mountain. Simmons, quick turns. Moore still with him. Lewis won't go, and Leader comes away with it. Rucker, no support. Dalton tried to set the screen. Rucker tried to go where small men should never go.
Unless you're quick like he is. And
Amazing.
what he does, because you go inside, what the big fellows can't resist doing. You see Dave Colbert leaning into him. You see Rucker was clever enough to keep the ball away from him, squeezed between Colbert and Simmons, and just drew the little body nudge. And with a little fellow, that's quite apparent for the referees.
If he keeps doing that, he's never going to get any bigger, is he? Mark Davis comes in, as does Paul Kuiper.
Machine gun substitution continuing. Rucker was out in the act of shooting, and he'll get 2 foul shots. Foul shots hasn't been a real positive element of this game so far. We've seen some rather poor foul shooting.
Well, I don't think the crowd are too worried about the foul shooting, are they?
No, I don't think so. What they want to see right about now is James Crawford getting away with a big slam.
Yep, there won't be any room for commentary sound when he does that. This is Crawford now. Leader in his face. Crawford gets around him. Lets it go from the free throw line as he hangs in the air and makes 2. We've got a timeout at the Perth Entertainment Centre, the South Side leading 16-12.
You know what I could do with when we got to break this lot? They're half wild and pretty spooky, because they're all from blooded stock. You know what I could do with a slightly tighter girth and a slightly easier method of getting back to work? You know what I could do when we've got them set to go? That famous brew that me and you and all West Aussies know.
Next one, mate.
I can do with an emu, how about you? I can do with an emu, how about you? I can do with a taste as big as the state in which we live. I can do with an emu, how about you? I can do with an emu, how about you?
Back out they come from their huddles. The south side leading by 4, but it's very, very early days yet, Phil.
Yes, it is. I think what surprises me so far in the game is how well the south team has been able to get out and run. I suppose they've been controlling the board, particularly when Uthoff's in, although he's taking the rest now, and that has allowed them to get out into the flow of the action, and I think it's surprised the north team somewhat.
Dalton. Moore, baseline turns, but has been fouled before he turned.
Thanks,
Davis.
Foul 33.
Mark Davis picking up his first foul, again fouled in the act of shooting. Interesting to see that the north team is continually putting the ball into the big fellas. First it was Norman Taylor and now Andre Moore, but they certainly are focusing that attack at the basket. Not much outside shooting at all.
Moore, one of 2 imports who've been sensational for the Bullets this season, of course, with Derek Rucker.
Benny Lewis taking the point guard position that time. This might be a time that the north team might consider pressing.
Well, Shane Hill getting his rest. I suspect when he comes back, he'll take that position again. Davis. Rucker got the hand in. It was given back to him, but there's the half-court violation. Davis knew what was coming, but couldn't do much to stop it.
No, that's a hopeless feeling. It almost is a penalty for good defense, though, in a case like that, because, you know, he did recover the ball, but he just couldn't stop his momentum stepping over. Nevertheless, that's in the rules, and there's no complaint, as you say, David, on that one.
The new man in for the north side in the blue singlet, number 33, Hubbard. His first touch of the ball. Greg Hubbard from Illawarra. Moore. Hubbard again, baseline. Kuiper found it brilliantly.
Credit Greg Hubbard with that basket that Paul Kuiper finished off. Hubbard weaved his way down the baseline and snuck it through to him. Great vision.
Simmons. Well, he wore Paul Kuiper, and Kuiper gets the foul as well as a sore jaw.
Yes, I was going to say that's double punishment on Kuiper. Another excellent spinning move by Simmons, who's a great proponent of that. You see Kuiper getting his arm out of the vertical, and as you say, on the way down, Simmons punished him a little bit more than just getting the foul up.
Poor old Paul got his mouth in the way. So Simmons has missed the first.
He won't be putting it in there again shortly, but not with a man like Simmons.
You wouldn't by choice in any case, would you?
No.
Derek Rucker again. There's Lewis in front of him. Thought about going over the top. Hubbard goes over the top for 3 and makes good. So the north side takes the lead, 19-17.
First 3-point attempt in the game from memory, David, and that shows how teams have been concentrating on power. Davis tries to get it back from 3, doesn't. Kuiper cleans up. North now leading by 2 with a chance to go further ahead.
The steal was by McDaniel. Davis waiting for some support, doesn't get it, so goes himself. Flicked out by Kuiper, and will be a south ball. So a couple of fairly tall lineups there at the moment.
It's really hard to keep track of who's on the floor. Every time you look up, it's a different combination. All-star games, you'll play everybody in the first quarter. Everybody will get on. And by the last quarter, you'll know who's really had come to play.
Rucker goes himself. A reverse layup. Great effort, Derek Rucker.
Set that up at half court. Now it's McDaniels the other way. Stops, props, flips it over to the side. Andre Moore climbing up into the rafters. North away again. Little sloppy ball handling, but Rucker reels it in.
Well-weighted pass. Moore for 2. Rims out. There's Perth rims for you.
Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work. Usually the players like those soft rings with a bit of bounce in them.
Crawford tried the lightning pass to Davis. Moore got the hand to it. So it's a south side ball. Substitutions rung again. Darryl Pearce with his first look at the ball, and Robert Sibley, the baseline bandit from Brisbane, running on behind him.
Well, we've seen everybody, I think, but John Stelzer has been in the game.
Pearce immediately tried the 3-point bomb. Rucker spins past Lewis, makes his own lane again. Didn't go that time. Pearce holds up. Crawford has come all the way from backcourt and slams it. Well, there wasn't a great degree of difficulty on it, I guess, by comparison with some of his others, but the crowd loved it.
Well, they loved it, but he did a really good job to get by the defense to get open for that. Inside, Sibley just entered the game, gets his first two points. Well, this is a cracking pace. 23-19 the score, with the North team leading.
Just under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Certainly has been action-packed. These games have a tradition of high scoring. No reason why tonight should be any different. Foul called by Eddie Crouch.
Mark Davis's second. Three. Just a bit frustrated in there, chasing the rebound from behind, fouled Paul Kuiper. And we'll see the penalty situation not in yet, so they get the ball from the side.
Well, Davis has been an all-star fixture since about 1986. Hubbard. Pierce working hard on him, and physically. Hubbard makes the two. So the North side with a mini break now, 25-19.
Hubbard 2 for 2 from the field, a three-pointer and a two-pointer.
Lockett. Up he goes to bank it off the glass and is fouled on the way through. Bill Mildenhall, the referee.
Foul was 33 for hand.
So third foul for Mark Davis.
Actually, I think they called that on 33.
They'll make it Greg Hubbard show at the other side.
Mark Davis isn't likely to go foul his own man. It is hard, isn't it, when you're so used to seeing these players playing against each other. You stick them all on the same team together. You sort of feel like you're drifting through the twilight zone sometimes.
Lockett's missed the first.
Geez, he'd have memories of this kind of foul shooting a few weeks back when Eastside lost to Perth. Real poor foul shooting in that game.
Stelzer, his first touch of the basketball, methinks. Leader. As Taylor inside, that's where it goes. By G, he is strong.
He really uses his rear end well to lever himself open. Pierce on the fast break again. There's a mismatch, but he throws the ball away. Cleverly tapped ahead to Hubbard. Goes to the basket. Disdaining James Crawford in his way. Sheltered at the ball and flipped it in.
Good use of the body by Hubbard to make that two. 29 plays 20. Crawford. Southside need to do something to contain this break. Crawford can't. Leader grabs the rebound. And Hubbard will carry the ball forward. Pierce comes up to meet him halfway. Leader thinks about it and lets go for three and makes three.
Plenty of practice this afternoon, the elimination of the three-point shootout, and Mark Leader had plenty of time to eyeball that one off.
Makes it a 12-point break now, 32-20. Pierce, double team, gets it inside to the free man Davis, who has warned Mark Leader.
That'll be a foul on Taylor. Davis perhaps a little bit fortunate to get a charge here. As you can see, good position from Leader. Davis barrels him over, but then as he starts his shooting action, Taylor reaches in, gives him a whack from behind.
So Davis at the line, sitting on 2 fouls. Crowd silent for the time being, waiting for another slam dunk perhaps.
There'll be more.
Mark Davis, his next NBL game will be his 150th. Herb McEachin, playing from the north side, is in the situation where his next NBL game will be his 300th. So 32 plays 21. Stelzer. Actually, the defense isn't bad, Bill.
No, they really are playing good defense out there, helping each other out very well. McDaniel leading the race. It's 4 on 2, but McDaniel takes it himself.
All the way. Sibley brings it down to 9 points. There's just on 40 seconds left in the first quarter. There will be at least one more play after this. Stelzer, and he turn Lockett. Oh. Yes, he does, and makes 2.
That wasn't the world's easiest shot either, going up at about a 45-degree angle away from the basket. Lockett in towards weaves his way to the basket. He does that as good as anybody in the league, finding that opening.
34 plays 25. One shot, says Greg Hubbard. There's the ball again. 10 seconds left in the quarter. Sibley, will he take it from out there? No, he won't. Hubbard, they need to find somebody. 5 seconds. Hubbard lets it go from 3-point range. Misses, but Sibley is there to tidy up with 2. And so at the end of the first quarter, the north side with an 11-point lead, 36 plays 25.
323, Estina. It'll take you by surprise.
Now you've got it all guaranteed cheaper in the big new Archie Martin Vox 16-page catalogue. It's in this weekend's West Australian.
We're guaranteed cheaper at Archie Martin Vox.
We've carried hopes and we've carried fears and we've kept you posted all those years. Now you'll see the change as we turn the page to a different age and we keep the spready posted. We keep you posted. As the sun comes up on a brand new day, we're gonna lead the way to keep us ready posted. We keep you posted, Australia posted.
When you're playing to win, skill and style can take you a long way. Now, the spirit and form of the Wildcats has been captured in this magnificent range of quality jewellery. The ideal gift for a Wildcats fan, these elegantly crafted pieces are in a class of their own. See the Wildcats jewellery range now at Robert and Mike Ellis's Jatem Jewellers and Giftware in the Dianella Plaza Shopping Centre. Also on sale at the Perth Entertainment Centre exclusively on game nights. Buy yours now and take a walk on the wild side.
For strength that can really take the punishment, fit a Lockwood 001 dead latch. It's fixed at 6 points, can't be cut through, and has a door frame strengthener with extra long screws that bite deep for added security. Fit the lock that stands up to the test and lock up with Lockwood.
Let's go now.
And welcome back to the Entertainment Centre. The Northside All-Stars with an 11-point lead, 36-25 as we start the second quarter. Bill, some scorers.
Yes, the top scorer in the game was Taylor from the North team with 10. In fact, he's the only scorer in double figures. Top scorer for the South team is David Simmons with 6. So, but they've been spread right around, and an enormous number of players have hit the score column. In fact, only 2 players haven't scored in the game.
The foot of Norman Taylor eventually sees the ball out with Andre Moore. Sensational athleticism to get that up and control his own body plate.
That was a great play, and it was really something that the South team didn't need to see as they slipped further into arrears. 13 points, a lot of firepower, catch up quickly. Utah back in, that worked very well for them early in the game. McDaniels.
Wayne McDaniel makes 2. So that narrows the deficit to 11 again, is where it was at quarter time, 38-27.
Seem to see Kent Lockhart dogging Derek Rucker out there, putting a little bit more pressure on him, making other people handle the ball.
Taylor. Sibley, baseline. That's where he likes to operate. Stelzer, time to shoot, and does. Rims out. Utah beaten for the rebound by Andre Moore. Sensational rejection from Simmons.
Hammered that out of there. He really timed that well. I don't think Andre Moore knew Simmons was within 10 miles. Rucker misses a 3. Utah with another rebounder. Clearly the best rebounder in this game so far. And the South team looks a lot better when he's in.
Lockhart faced by Rucker, so they're matching up on each other now. Davis. Lockhart again. Coming down to 10 on the shot clock as McDaniel lets one go and makes 2 more.
McDaniel has such a hard shot to guard. He pulls it way back behind his head and usually fades away as well. So you've got to be right on top of him to have any chance to get a piece of the ball.
Shades of Tiny Pinder. Stelzer from outside makes 3, and that hurts the South side. 41-29, so they're 12 points ahead. McDaniel again puts it over the top. The tip-in didn't go either from Simmons. So nothing quite going right for the South side. Eventually it goes in. But gee, they worked hard for those 2.
They did, but the key there was that time was Simmons. When he missed the shot, he kept that space around the basket, kept the ball alive, and eventually Mark Davis was able to slip in and score 2 points.
Mark Dalton back on court. Keachin and Sibley, the other change. Here's Dalton from the Sydney Kings. In went the hand of Simmons, and a foul called by Bill Mildenhall.
5 for hands.
That's his second.
So blue ball, north side to inbound from the side. Mark Dalton when eventually he gets the ball.
And we didn't see either team in the first quarter get into the penalty situation, so it's being played hard but fair. That was a fantastic block by Simmons again, but the foul occurred earlier on McDaniels. And we'll see Moore go to the line, but that was an unbelievable play. After the foul occurred, Simmons was way up, head around the basket, and rejected the shot. Might even have been goaltending. I don't think the referees were alert to that.
Wayne McDaniel wasn't too happy about the foul, but all that is in the past. Once the referee has blown his whistle, there isn't a lot you can do about it most times.
Nothing that works anyway.
No. Moore makes the 2. 43 plays 31. And the South Side need to do a little more than just trade baskets, Bill.
Yeah, they do. I think that they're picking up their tempo a little bit. They look better now. This has been a much better combination for them, but Utah stripped of the ball. Simmons recovers, however. South have to capitalize here. McDaniels goes to the hoop. Little jump hooker, doesn't find it. Lovely tip in by Mark Davis, left-handed.
One-on-one, Moore against Simmons. Floats over the top and banks it off the glass.
Hey, these guys are some athletes out here.
Got a great standing leap, Andre Moore. Lockett, with Rucker in his face. Goes baseline. Reverse layup makes 2. So 10 points the split now. 35 trails 45. More substitutions. Kuiper comes in for Storman Norman Taylor. Well, Kuiper, of course, who had some time with the Wildcats.
Coaches again, rapid substitution. As I said, the last quarter you'll find the combination that the coaches have assessed worked the most, and they'll play the last 6 minutes of the game.
Kuiper, turnaround jumper, goes for 2. 47 plays 35, and the South Side having trouble getting that deficit down to single figures.
Yeah, they can't seem to crack it. They get their momentum up, and mostly it's been a turnover that's hurt them. They make a mistake, and the North team's been able to come back and get a fairly easy score.
Utah and Kuiper face to face, like the Twin Towers. Colbert hasn't seen a lot of court time. Takes a shot from just inside three-point range, which misses. McKeechan, 299 NBL games. Dalton. Rucker behind him. Dalton decides he'll do a little bit of guard work himself. In went the hand of Simmons. McKeechan wise enough to let it go. Dalton. Moore at the high post. Kuiper. Dalton again. The screen set by Kuiper almost involuntarily.
Dalton caught himself up in the air, nowhere to go. 8 seconds to shoot now. Rucker blocked by Lockhart that time. Good job. Moore cleans up, floats in again. Hands wail above the ring. Nothing touched the ball. Rucker cleverly saving it.
Behind his back was Derek Rucker. Let's go for 3 and makes good. Well, out goes the lead now to 15. 50 plays 35.
Well, this is a turn-up. The South team was the favored team in this contest, but the North has played a lot better than they have. Early days yet. Still, how do you describe stuff like that? I mean, really, these guys are fantastic athletes. Simmons hammered from 12 different directions. Pulls the ball way back of his head. Look at the physical pressure he's under here. Whack, whack, whack. Floats in the air, floats through the pressure, and puts the ball in off the glass.
You'd hate to be calling that for radio, wouldn't you?
Oh, gee, you couldn't describe it. Your tongue would be twisted around your nose.
The pictures speak for themselves. Lockett fouled on the way through. There will be no score, says Billy Mildenhall.
Foul was 0 for a hold going that way.
And I think perhaps one of the telling factors for the North Side, Bill, has been the combination of Rucker and Moore together.
Yes, I think that's true. And you know, of course, they play on the same team. That understanding there. Crawford back in the lineup. He goes up over the top of McGeechan. And the North team's done a very good job, too, at least getting parity on the boards. Utah, I think, has given a slight advantage. You see a turnover. That's Locker to pick the pocket. He goes between two. It's a raffle here who's going to get the foul. From the look on Mark Dalton's face, I'd say he's been picked out.
The push.
Indeed he has. Number 12, Mark Dalton.
Locker,
see it again.
Very clever in the open court. Going between. See how he used the ball. He got by both pairs of hands by sticking the ball forward and then bringing it to the shooting position. And really, he's one of the best players in the open court in the league.
He's very broad of shoulder, but otherwise very wiry, isn't he? Incredibly strong.
Very, very strong, and the advantage with him is he can play 48 minutes if required.
Well, indeed, he's playing a good deal better than 40 now, isn't he?
Yes, that's right. But again, the foul shooting from the South team has been no help to them at all. They've gone to the line quite a few times. I would think that they're shooting under 50% from the foul line, which is horrid.
Rucker has Lockett in front of him. Dalton sets the pick, then picks up the pass. Doesn't go, gets his own rebound. 30-second shot clock starts again for the north side. That's important for them. McEachin picks up the scraps. Hook shot doesn't go, and Dalton again there for the offensive board. Leader. Get around Crawford. No. Dalton. Kuiper made good position over Utah. Pops it up over the top for a strong two-point basket. We have a timeout with 6:43 in the second quarter. 52 plays 37.
Can't beat it. The feeling you get from a Coca-Cola. You can't beat the feeling. You can feel the whole world laughing. Sharing joy with friends. You can't beat the feeling. You've got it. You can't stop it. The feeling you get from a Coca-Cola. You can't beat the feeling.
Having a good dead latch on your front door still leaves the back wide open. When you buy a Lockwood 001 dead latch, get the twin pack and lock up both your doors with one key.
Don't
Pay
too much.
If you're over 30, call Wendy at Western Underwriters for a special deal on insuring your motor vehicle.
Pay too much.
Call Wendy.
James, but give us some motion.
Welcome back.
We're just standing around leaving it there. Let's go.
Lindsay Gaze and Brian Gorgon calling for a little more defensive effort from their team.
Little seminar session on the sideline. I think that's true. What they were very critical in that timeout, it was the number of second shots that the South team was allowing. Of course, when teams like this shoot around 50%, you let them get a second shot. Well, statistics say that they're going to score then every time down the floor, and the North team's been getting a lot of offensive rebounds.
The stat we were looking at during the timeout as well was the penalty shooting. Whoa! Simmons should have had that. We'll come back to the penalty stat in just a minute.
He stepped on the baseline, so that didn't count.
But from the free throw line, 35%, I think you said, for the South side.
That's terrible.
5 from 14 attempts is pretty ordinary at this level. Crawford. Bubble work. Great body feint. Ricky Grace watching that.
8 different ways in the air. Utah certainly stops leader's progress. Rucker tries it in again.
Gets over the top of Colbert.
He really got up in the air early and released the ball before Colbert could get to full extension.
Lockett. Simmons up with the hand of Dalton. The south side ball. Simmons to inbound. Lockett, three-point attempt. Whoop, did everything but go in. McEachin, Rucker, leader outside him, doesn't go. Dalton can't get the tip in, and Colbert comes away with the board. Utah, what can he do?
Oh.
Can he tip it in? Yes, he can.
How did he misheard McEachin? McEachin was staying there. Utah just changed his direction. McEachin must have looked like Mount Everest avalanching down on top of him. But Utah very clever in the open court. Missed the shot, but got the fingernail to put it back in.
Herb may just have been clever and miraged.
Yeah, he might have played a little Matador defense on that. Who could blame him?
Rucker. Oh, trapped by 3 of them. And where's James Crawford's elbow?
No, I didn't think you were going up. That was 7. Hands.
Pure accident.
Fouls on Crawford here. Referees judged that he didn't believe that Rucker was shooting. If he was shooting, it was going to be a miraculous shot. He
wasn't looking anywhere near the basket, was he?
He was going to two-hand basket back over his head somehow. So probably a good decision. Top scorer in the game still is Taylor. He just came back onto the floor.
Wait till I tell you what
Still the only player in double figures, but as I said, an incredible lot of players in the scorebook.
Simmons checking out. He's been a very, very useful contributor for the south side. Hubbard, faced by Darrell Pierce. Rucker, Heel in his face. That'll be an interesting contest. We haven't seen much of Heel and Rucker against each other. Hubbard goes up, can't make the 2. Taylor grabs it and has it stripped from him. And where's the foul?
I think he had some skin stripped from him is what happened from Kent Locker at that time. Tried to strip the ball. We saw that the South team just mixing it up a little bit. They've gone into a zone defense. That is, they're guarding positions on the floor rather than specific players. Just trying to put the North team off a little bit. They're playing with a great deal of confidence, the North team.
Norman Taylor. 8 points so far. An imposing sight from any angle, but more so from that angle. We'll get that shot again.
A little bit too far there.
Somebody stepped in a little early.
One to count.
You can hear Eddie Crouch saying, well, you stepped in just a little bit too far that time.
Still can't make it. Crawford grabs it. Steele. Just under 5 minutes remaining till half-time.
Oh, how does he get, I mean, that's his brilliance. He gets through there. He shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Shades of that basket that won at the south side last year from Scott Fisher.
There's a foul here. We now see the South teams in the penalty situation. This is a replay of Kuiper going to the hoop, and there's the foul.
Second foul for Crawford. He doesn't look overly impressed. Paul Kuiper doesn't seem to mind a lot.
Well, as I was saying, this is the first time, though, in the game, David, that we've seen the penalty situation. That was a shooting foul, but that's the 5th team foul. There's some horrendous foul. All the good stuff we're seeing out here, and they're shooting bricks from the foul line.
I didn't like to say that. Shane Hill. Pierce did well to keep hold of that. Great pass, finds Colbert. Pump fake, works, off the glass, 2.
Colbert bringing up his 4th point. So the South team's top scorers are Lockhart with 8 and Simmons with 8. And we still see Taylor top scorer for the North team with 10. And Andre Moore has 8 and Rucker has 8.
Moore coming back into the game as Kuiper takes a break. Rucker trying to run Heel off his feet. Heel gets across to play some D on Hubbard as well. Moore. Rucker with the handoff.
Good defensive intensity that time by the South
indeed.
team. They were really closing off scoring avenues.
10-second warning shot on the buzzer. Strong work from Norman Taylor, 57-45.
Strong and quick, the way he spun and handled the ball. Heel now to Colbert. Colbert will try and get back on Taylor, leans into him, ball bounces back to him, swatted by Andre Moore, and the North team's away.
Hubbard, Rucker outside him, goes to Leader instead on the left-hand side. 3-point basket. The quiet achiever is Mark Leader.
Taking 2 shots, hit 2 3-pointers.
Rucker, great steal. Look at that. Jam it.
It's impressive to see the little man get up like that.
Great to be able to get above the rim like that. Pierce. Crawford. Can he turn more? Yes, he can. The pump fake. Off the glass, makes 2. The North side still well in control of this game at the moment, though. 62 plays 47. Rucker fouled on the way through. Eddie Crouch will call it.
3, 1, and 2.
So Lockett. And for Kent Lockett, that's going to be foul number 2. Mark Davis comes in. Lockett checks out. And Derek Rucker goes to the free throw line.
Well, I think that we'll see some good foul shooting here. Derek Rucker's been very, very aggressive in taking the ball to the hoop, and it's caught the South team unaware several times, and he has that ability to get rid of the ball and get it up softly on the ring, even though there's a lot of big guys around him.
So Rucker locks his copybook. This is the second.
Rucker now the second player in double figures. He's got 11.
Crawford, fast work, great vision to find Davis. Hubbard as Leader with him, bypasses him for Rucker, who goes for 3. Colbert with the rebound. Pierce on the job as ball carrier for the time being. Crawford tries for 3. Well, that's not his trademark, but the crowd likes it.
And so does the South team. They needed it.
I'll bet. Leader. Moore, can he turn Crawford? Yes. Rims out. Leader played the trailer, but that didn't work. Davis now, 4-on-1, really should go, and does from Pierce. That, of course, leaves 3-on-1 at the other end. Rucker's pass wasn't as effective as it might have been. Taylor wasn't quite ready for it, but the foul was called.
Colbert called with his foul. I think you'll find that he really had Taylor covered. But there you see at the last minute, just could not resist that magnetism of the ball, brought his hand down out of the vertical and collected Taylor on the wrist.
Well, the crowd hooting, so they've chosen their side. The crowd are barracking for the south side, and I guess that's predictable with Crawford.
Never in doubt.
The hometown hero in the team. They're getting more vocal. So the north side have become the enemy tonight. In the nicest possible way.
Yes. In the most friendly, kindest, and loving way.
Heel, three-point attempt.
Need it?
Yes, thank you. Swish. There ain't nothing wrong with that, folks.
So they're keeping it at that 12 mark, David, but they just can't seem to get underneath it. I think if we'll see a whole new complexion of the ball game if they get it down into a single figure.
Well, they've done okay now. They're down to 8, 65-57.
Oh, good adding, Bill.
The adding's okay. The
there we go. We're back in double figures now again.
Make that 11. Heel and Rucker.
Rucker with 14 pitched the ball a few times too. Leading scorer. Heel dishing that time into Colbert. And the tempo, if possible, is picking up even more in this game.
Hubbard worked his way all the way to the baseline. Great effort from Hubbard. Didn't quite finish it off as he would have wished.
Never seen that move before. I don't think Greg Hubbard had ever done it before.
Not exactly
Davis.
the way it was planned, but it worked well. Crawford beaten to it by Taylor, who puts it out over the sideline. Yellow ball, south side, and a crowd like that as well.
I thought the referee looked at me. I tried to give him the signal which way it went.
Not on that.
But nobody wants to inbound. Yes, they do. Crawford will take it. Minute and a half left until half time.
Can't shoot when you inbound the ball.
Rucker. Hubbard. Didn't waste any time at all, and that goes for 3. So 71 plays 59, and we have that 12-point split again. And that silenced the crowd. Pierce. Colbert. Goes up over the top, and there's been a foul called by Eddie Crouch.
Sibley foul.
Names, 2.
What the South team, their ball movement is not as slick as the North team. It's tending to rest in a player's hands too long, which allows the defense to overplay and get on the ball side and help out. They've got to make some more quick ball moves, particularly from side to side.
Dave Colbert goes to the line. More like what we expect from the free throw line.
Colbert now with 7.
Makes the second. Is 71 plays 61. We have a minute left till half time. Sibley screens for Rucker. Hubbard again lets go early from 3-point range. And again the north side come back with the second opportunity. Sibley banks it off the glass for 2. 12 points to margin, 40 seconds left.
That cat-like quickness of Taylor allowed him to get the rebound and dish it off. Inside this time, Davis up over the top strongly, and he puts it in off glass. Davis now with 9 points.
Just a 1 second differential between the game clock and the shot clock, so there will be one more play.
Hasn't Derek Rucker controlled the tempo well for the North team? He's played the most minutes of anybody out there, and I think he's going to good chance for the MVP, because I think it's been his ball control and his penetration both that have set up this lead for the North team if we were to go on and win.
5 seconds to get the shot away for Rucker. He does that from just inside 3-point range. Pierce has 1 second to shoot. Can't get the shot away, and so at half-time in this Hungry Jacks NBL All-Star game, the North side leads by 10 over South, 73-63.
Thursday's comedy, Acropolis now, and hello. Fast forward's coming, and skirts, what a show! 7th week, Australia's place to be. 7th week, the place to be. 7th week, the place to be. Thursday.
When you're choosing where to invest your hard-earned money, you want the best of both worlds. High interest and solid security.
With Town & Country's term investments, you earn 14.25% per annum on money invested for 12 months or 14% per annum for 3 to 6 months, each with interest on maturity. Town & Country's term investments, high interest and the security of investing with one of WA's leading financial institutions. Town & Country, business better than ever.
Okay, hamburger lovers. If you are serious, and I think you are, got to get back to Jack's. Come on! Gotta get my head into new space. Gotta get myself to a real place. Gotta get back to the real taste of Hungry Jack's.
So, you finally decided, huh?
Yep, this is it.
It's the one thing that can't help but fill you with pride.
Well, here's the keys. Now, what about insurance?
It's a time when you need someone strong by your side.
Can I call SGIO?
SGIO? Sure, I'll call them for you now.
Wherever you are or whatever you own, we'll stand by you, SGIO.
East is east, and west is something else entirely. New West, the new skin scent for men, created by Aramis, exclusively at Meyer.
Yes, indeed. Half-time at the Perth Entertainment Centre, the All-Stars game with the North side leading by 10, 73 to 63. Let's check a page from the Nike NBL notebook, and tonight, fittingly, it's on slam dunks.
Another page from the Nike NBL notebook, the slam dunk. Probably the most spectacular and entertaining shot in basketball. The slam dunk is when the player leaps high above the hoop and buries the ball in the basket. Perfected by such diverse talents as the Wildcats' big number 7, the Alabama slammer, James Crawford. But at 5'7", Spud Webb shows us all that you don't have to be tall to be the world's greatest slam dunker. Another page from the Nike NBL notebook.
Okay, the slam dunk, and I guess we're going to see a few more of them tonight, Bill.
I think so. We saw 3 excellent ones in the first half, and I think there's more to come, as
I
you
tell you,
said.
we didn't see too many earlier tonight. Part of the tradition of All-Star games in the United States and the building tradition here is the pizzazz before the game, the three-point shootout, and the Legends game. We've got some vision from the Legends game. There weren't so many slam dunks in that, were there?
No, there were a lot of points, actually. They only played a 20-minute game, and the team that won got 51 points. You see Cal Bruton, who was almost too young to be a legend, really. And David Lindstrom, the Illawarra coach, the Silver Fox, Lindsey Gaze, at 50 years old or so, and he was nearly the top scorer for that team. He still can play. He taught Andrew Gaze, I think, how to shoot those three-pointers.
And these guys still look extremely fit.
Most of them are coaches, and they do a lot of scrimmaging with the team. There's little Dennis Kibble, the assistant coach from Newcastle.
He had a great time out there.
He was known as a hacker. Great pass from Bruton.
That was the flashiest basket all night. And then from the Legends game, we went to the three-point shootout, and the eventual winner in 60 seconds, scoring 19 points, was Shane Heal. And this really was a great effort, Bill.
It was a great effort. In fact, we had elimination. All the players participated, and most of the Wildcats as well. And the winning score, 19, was actually the top score that was scored all day long. The elimination was in the afternoon. Just to explain the rules, there's 5 balls in each rack. As you say, they get a minute to shoot the 5 racks. And the last ball in the rack is worth 2 points. That's the money ball, and it makes a lot of difference. You want to make real sure on that one. Heal did a real good job here. He had plenty of time to spare coming into the last 2 racks in the Hungry Jack shootout, and that's very important because you can really concentrate on those last few shots, although as we see that he misses 2 in a row, but I think he goes on a pretty good string here.
And in fact, he really did look very relaxed, didn't he, all the way through?
Yeah, well, he had plenty of time. You can see him coming into that one, knew that he had plenty of time, and that allowed him to really zero in on those last few shots. You see him reel off, hit the last 4 in a row, including the money ball, and he wins the $500 Hungry Jack shootout prize.
And if nothing else, that's a fairly nerve-wracking time for him out there, that 60 seconds.
It is, and you get tired. You shoot that many balls, and 25 balls from that distance is actually quite tiring as well.
I'm sure it would be. I'm not about to find out. We'll take a break, come back with more on the other side of this break.
Awarded internationally for its legendary form and visionary technology. The magnificent Mazda MX-5. A classic sports car. As tempting as ever.
If paying off high-interest loans means that every month your family budget is feeling the squeeze, help is at hand. If you have equity in your home, just call Town & Country's telebranch on 221 4122. We'll pay out any existing home loan and all your high-interest loans. Then we give you one loan with one payment at our home loan interest rate. It could save you hundreds of dollars a month. Just call Town & Country on 221 4122 and take the high-interest pressure off your family budget.
Okay, hamburger lovers. If you are serious, and I think you are, got to get back to Jack's. Come on! Gotta get my head into new space. Gotta get myself to a real place. Gotta get back to the real taste of Hungry Jack's.
What you're about to see may shock, especially if you're building or renovating and you've already bought ceramic tiles. Because the Tile Warehouse sale prices are up to 30, 40, 50 and 60% cheaper than our competitors, with bargains like imported floor tiles from $16 a metre, and our Italian and Spanish wall tiles start at $12 a metre. This is where the bargains are, and the biggest shock of all is we're open Saturday and Sunday till 5 p.m. Tile Warehouse, corner of Douro and Hampton Road, South Fremantle.
Welcome back once again, and Bill, the All-Stars not the only focus of basketball attention at the moment. The Australian Boomers doing well, of course, in Argentina.
Yes, they were in peril, I think, when they dropped the game to Italy last night, but early this morning they beat Brazil and got themselves to the second round by 1 point. Fantastic
yes,
effort.
Indeed. 69-68 in the event, and they owed a lot of that to Perth's Andrew Vlahoff. Let's take a look at this report compiled by Neil Poe.
Both sides started tentatively, with the exception of Andrew Vlahoff, who'd been given one of basketball's worst jobs, guarding Brazilian scoring ace Oscar Schmidt. Not only did the 21-year-old cool Oscar's hot hand, he burnt the Brazilians at the other end of the court.
Well, I'm taking on Oscar again and scoring.
Midway through the first half, the Boomers opened up a handy 10-point lead, but inexplicably lost their way after getting into team foul trouble. Led by the live-wire Felipe, Brazil bounced back to grab a 3-point half-time lead. The Aussies emerged from the break with renewed purpose, knowing full well a loss would mean the end of their medals dream, and again it was Vlahoff leading the way.
Spin move and layup. Vlahoff is having a great game.
The lead changed hands 12 times in a nail-biting second half. With less than 2 minutes to go, Vlahoff gave the Boomers a 1-point break, and in the next Brazilian sortie to the basket, drew Oscar's 5th and final foul. With 28 seconds on the clock, Ray Borner took probably the most important offensive rebound of his career as the Boomers held on for one of their most impressive wins. They'll now meet Puerto Rico in next week's quarterfinals.
Well, Neil Poe watched that game sitting on the edge of his seat, as did Lindsay Gaze, whose son, of course, was playing with the Boomers. Neil is now talking with Lindsay in the change rooms.
Yes, thanks, David. Well, Lindsay, a man with divided attentions, I guess, today. This morning's game against Brazil, a fantastic effort by the Australians.
A great effort, and I was commenting to our players here before that Brazil must hate Australia. It's amazing in the last 10 years how often that the game against Brazil, which has been the most important game for us in the tournament, and we've come up with a result like that. And it was very typical of a tremendously courageous effort. I think that the tactics were outstanding, and all of the players needed to be committed to the tactics, because you can be frustrated in playing a slow-down tempo game, but against Brazil, that's the way to go. And those last couple of minutes were gut-wrenching, and just a fantastic result for Australian basketball.
How did you see the performance of Andrew Vlahov?
Well, he was clearly the match winner. You know, he had the toughest assignment in being able to contain Oscar Schmidt. He did that with distinction. And not only did he do that, he had a great game offensively as well, got a couple of key rebounders, and psychologically I think that he had a very clear victory in the game.
Now, in the scheme of the championships, there's an important result because Puerto Rico beat Yugoslavia. Now Australia has to play Puerto Rico.
Well, that was a major upset, but that was something that we would have preferred. We couldn't have scripted it better, because we go into the next round with a win over Brazil, and if we beat Puerto Rico, we're heading for high figures. We had a good game against Puerto Rico in the Goodwill games. In fact, we beat them comfortably. I'm not too sure how valid that result was, because at the time that we played that game, the game was really not very important. Puerto Rico going within a couple of points in the United States at the Goodwill games, and then beating Yugoslavia in the World Championships, they are two excellent results. So obviously we have a tough battle.
Lindsay, thanks very much. Good luck to the South Stars in the second half. Back to you, David.
Yes, thanks very much, Neil. Indeed, good luck to the South Stars. They need a bit of luck going into the second half. We'll come back and check out the second half of the action after this break.
Seven Sport.
Another tough game for the Perth Wildcats.
So they're going basket for basket at the present time.
Which side would you rather see make the five this year?
The Olympic Games in Barcelona.
Good evening, also on 790 News.
They cleaned out your home, taken everything you own.
Out there with HBF.
Ain't that a shame? What a shame, what a shame. Still you're not to blame.
Hello, HBF Home and Car Insurance.
Ain't that a shame? What a shame, what a shame. Call HBF and claim. Your car was a steal. They even got the wheels.
Oh, the car.
Ain't that a
Just call and claim.
Home and car insurance. HBF Home and Car
We are again, you're with HBF Home and Car Insurance.
Home and Car insurance. Good morning, HBF.
HBF, how much?
HBF Home and Car insurance.
Phones?
HBF Home and Car insurance.
Right away.
You'd think an Ansett WA fare this cheap would mean we were skimping on something. Tickets this cheap could lead you to think we were cutting costs somewhere. And a flight this inexpensive might make you wonder just how we afforded it. But on Ansett WA's flexi fares to the Northwest, the only thing that's changed about our famous 6-star service is the price.
Get out to Bearswood and have a good time tonight. Let the Bearswood Casino shake out your blues tonight. I said shake, rattle and roll. I said shake, rattle and roll. Come on, shake, rattle and roll. Go, go. I said shake, rattle and roll. Bearswood, shake, rattle and roll.
And welcome back, all in readiness for the second half. Eddie Crouch to Bill Mildenhall to throw the ball up. Dalton with the first real possession. And His side leading convincingly. In fact, they've never really looked in trouble so far, Bill.
No, they have. The difference is the guards are being very productive for the North team. Rucker's got 14, Hubbard's got 10. The point production is very minimal from the South team. The North team's hurting them from the backcourt and the front court as we see Norman Taylor collect his 14th point in the game, whereas North has primarily scored most of their points close to the basket, not getting anything from distance.
And not much in the turnovers either. 6 for the north side, 8 for the south side. And I think perhaps the south side's turnovers have been more costly.
I think so. North has been much abler to capitalize on it and get into open court situations. I still will be very interested to see what combinations the coaches think are most effective in the fourth quarter. Taylor, very strong off the boards, kicks it ahead to McGeechan. Plenty of gold shirts back on defense, but McGeechan snakes his way in. Another tremendous block by Simmons, and Utah reels it in.
There goes McDaniel. Tried the tomahawk.
Boy, he pulled that up a long way out, didn't he? I don't know if he would have made it.
I think he's got a nosebleed from the altitude. Have a look.
Look at how early he picked up that ball one-handed. There's no doubt about the foul, but I think he took off a little bit earlier than he wanted to.
Got a nosebleed from the elbow. McDaniel at the stripe. Makes the first, all net. Well, that'll be encouraging for anybody barracking for the south side.
Certainly. Well, the 43% the south team shot from the foul line in the first half, and that's abysmal. But they're 100% this half.
So McDaniel takes his score to 8. And his team scored a 65. They still trail by 10, though. McGeechan. Taylor. Oh, Simmons strong. Double teamed by McDaniel and Simmons. That leaves Dalton free. And he tries to play the guard and does. And makes 2. Opened the lane and then used it. Utah.
That's goaltending. Oh, a foul was called.
Right down the arm.
One or the other.
I was going to say, you could just about take your pick, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Eddie Crouch has gone for the foul. You suit yourself at home.
Good pass to Utah. McGeechan got a real good run at it. It certainly wasn't goaltend, but it did look on the replay like he got on the back of Utah's hand.
So Dean Utah at the stripe.
6 points in the game to date.
No go. 77 plays 65. Concentration on the face of the big man. So he has 1 from 3 attempts at the free throw line.
South team just picking up a little bit earlier, trying to raise the defensive tempo. As you said, David, it's not enough just to trade baskets. They've got to make turnovers in the North team. Rucker misses that one. Tapped out of bounds by Simmons, so the blue team, which is the North team, will get the ball back.
Dalton has made a spectacular recovery from that very, very serious knee injury.
Look at Norman Taylor back up into the key. Little bulldozer to get open in there. It's more there. Geez, Utah did stop him. He said, no further shall you go. But he did pick up the foul.
He made some distance backwards after he bounced off Utah too.
This is a collision. This has rattled the seats. Look at Moore, though. He still had the presence of mind to launch that ball up. Most people would have fainted, I think.
Utah's first foul.
Andre Moore now with 11.
He's been a valuable contributor. And so is his Brisbane teammate Derek Rucker. Will the tip-in go from Dalton? Well, take the 2.
Utah went up inside the ring that time. You can tip it off when it's on the ring, but of course you can't come up through the cylinder and tap it out.
Heel, placed by Rucker. Been a great matchup tonight, those 2. Oh, Simmons did well to get it out to Utah. Banks it off the glass for 2. And keeps his side again within 12 points. 80 plays 68. The South needs somebody to inspire them, Bill.
Yes, I think so. They really need to get some outside shots, too. I think just to loosen up it a little bit around the basket. The North team's really collapsing defensively. Heel takes it to the hoop. Moore intimidates him out of the shot. Dalton and Lockhart fight for it. Body spilling. It's Dalton goes down, came off Moore's foot. And the South team will keep him down. That was a good little scrimmage.
Well, they've got the ball back, and I guess that's important to the South side.
See some scramble here. Dalton holding his strength. There's Moore whacking the ball loose, and it did come off his toe going out of bounds. good endeavor by both teams that time. Utah, he wants the ball, and he's got Taylor out of the way. Dalton comes across almost accidentally, blocks it. Fast break, 4-on-2. Rucker pulls up, misses it, but Moore's there. He can't clean up as Utah recovered, and away they go the other way.
Hill, Lockhart, goes all the way to the basket. Can't bank it off the glass successfully. Dalton controls it well. McEachin, the fast outlet pass to Rucker, has more baseline. Decides to go himself. Well, he's drawn the foul. What for is the call. Kent Lockett has his third foul.
Rucker again penetrating very well. Lockhart, I think, a bit frustrated missing his lane at the other end. Wasn't going to let Rucker get an easy one. But Lockhart, that's his third foul. And for Rucker, that now is his 15th point.
3 from 4 at the line. 3 from 5 rather. 4 from 6 make that. So no slouch from the free throw line either, Derek Rucker.
Margin still haunting the South team. They just can't seem to chip their way very far in. Simmons again weaving his way through, but can't make the shot.
34.
Can't do that, Wayne. You just can't come in and push somebody out of the way, says referee Eddie Crouch. So Wayne McDaniel picks up a foul, and it's his second.
I'm sure it wasn't intentional.
No.
So Hill checks out, and the professor, Benny Lewis, checks in as point guard for the South side. Dalton, in went the hand of Utah, and behind that, in went the hand of Simmons.
5.
Yes, I think in the bulldozing contest in the pit, Taylor that time got Simmons caught out in the back with a hand.
Moore steps around Utah, and then inside McDaniel and makes 2.
That was a lovely little flipper, very athletic from the big man.
Benny Lewis runs into Rucker. No foul. Just tends him off with a little bit of butt. Simmons.
See, David, the problem, everything is having to go inside because they've got nothing from range. It works, but you look at that time down the floor, the classic example, there were 5 North players standing in the key area. Very tough to score.
Moving well on the north side. Taylor almost held it. Eventually gets it to McEachin off the base of the backboard. Oh, that was an ambitious pass. It looked pretty, but unfortunately it wasn't as effective as it might have been. Derek Rucker thinks it's pretty funny. Mark Leader checks in for Herb McEachin. And Southside substitution time as well. Utah out and Mark Davis in. As Rucker brings it forward. Faced by Kent Lockett, who's unceremoniously bundled out of things by Dalton. He comes through again. Great basket up over the outstretched hand of Simmons.
2 flippers in a row. Andre Moore and this time Mark Dalton. The key there is to get the ball up out of your hand before the defense and come across and swat it.
Lockett. Well, they could do worse than let go a couple of 3-pointers at the moment. McDaniel has been great from that range all night.
Now in double figures, the second South player in double figures. Simmons also has 10.
Taylor. Just hands off to Rucker again. Then sets the screen. Doesn't work. Rucker was hassled by Simmons, who's fouled. That'll be foul number 4.
Yes, he's collecting them now, David Simmons. This is a good double team, actually. Rucker, not many places to go. Foul very clear. And that's a 15 foul on the South team, so we'll see Derek Rucker going to the line shooting 1 and 1.
Dave Simmons checks out as James Crawford comes back in. Hasn't seen perhaps as much court time as the home crowd would like to see him have.
I think with Simmons in foul trouble now that Crawford probably have an unimpeded run certainly through the rest of this quarter. 7 minutes and 5 seconds to go before the 3-quarter break.
Rucker makes it 5 from 7 at the charity stripe. If he makes that one, which he does, it gives him 75% from the line, and that's pretty acceptable.
And 18 points. It's still that margin, 14 points at the moment. McDaniel misses that one. Locker can't find it. Strong Taylor kicks it out. 3-on-1. Rucker dishes back to Moore.
Well, there's $500 for the best slam dunk tonight. That's going to go close. Rucker again. 3-on-2 this time. Leader, well, just a little too fancy, but it's a north side ball again off the hands of Kent Lockett.
Big margin now, 18 points. So the South team, David, will have to do something more than normal. They'll have to come out, I think, and extend their defense and really pressurize the ball. They've got Darrell Pierce, they've got Benny Lewis in. They need to get some activity from outside of 17 feet.
Well, I was going to say with Darrell Pierce there, he's a great streak shooter. So is this man, but not that time. Colbert comes away with the rebound. The Professor, baseline, has it knocked away from him, but retains possession. Bounce pass, well, should have found Crawford.
That was a great pass. I think it surprised James Crawford. Didn't believe that Benny Lewis could thread it through there.
Mind you, when you're that tall, it's hard to get down that far, isn't it? As you know.
Yes, it is. The ankles seem a very distant land.
Off the hand of Crawford. So a north side ball, which Mark Leader will inbound the side. Moore making position for him. That's where it goes. Hand off to Rucker again. They work so well together. Look at that again. And again, Moore over the top. That fell short. Up went the hand of Moore. Benny Lewis won't be happy with himself. Rucker has the time to shoot three. It doesn't go. And this time it's brought away by Pierce. Bounce finds Benny Lewis, who amazingly found Crawford. He found Mark Davis, who's fouled on the way to the slam dunk. Leader with the foul.
That was a fairly interesting sequence.
3-0 the hands.
You'll see there, that's the end pass. Davis, a lot of the good work happened at half court as we go to a timeout with the North team leading 90 to South 72.
We have a timeout. North leading 90 to 70. I could do with the name you, how about you? I could do with the name you, how about you? I could do with a taste as big as the state in which we live. I could do with the name you, how about you? I could do with the name you, how about you?
Now you've got it all guaranteed cheaper in the big new Archie Martin Vox 16-page catalogue. It's in this weekend's West Australian.
We're guaranteed cheaper at Archie Martin Vox.
Having a good dead latch on your front door still leaves the back wide open. When you buy a Lockwood 001 dead latch, get the twin pack and lock up both your doors with one key.
And welcome back, and the job still well and truly ahead of the South side. They trail by 18 points. And we're coming back to free throw situation for Mark Davis. Shooting two. Davis has 9 points so far tonight. 1 from 2 at the line. That makes 2 from 3. And as we were saying before the break, Bill, they need somebody to inspire them again, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. And I think that the inspiration more than anything else needs to come from the three-point line or some sort of long-range shooting, because it's just as the game goes on, the North team's just packing it tighter and tighter around the basket.
Hubbard. Kuiper up high. Now, has he fouled Crawford? Yes, he has.
1-1. That was 0-0 for over the back. 1-1.
You see the penalty situation now, that being the 15th foul on the North team, so we'll wander the 94 feet to the other end and shoot a foul shot. James Crawford on the line. 1-1. If he makes the first one, he gets the second one.
1-1.
And the way they've been shooting, you wouldn't bet on that first foul shot.
Crawford hasn't been to the line tonight.
1. Now has 12 points, and as you see, 5 rebounds.
And 100% from the stripe.
He'd be the best foul shooter from the stripe on the team.
So he's got them both. I guess he's got 200% now. 14 points the split. Crawford the top scorer for the South side. Leader, Andre Moore, instinctively, I think, looks for Rucker. turns. Oh, the tough basket.
The two Brisbane fellows are really putting on a class display at the moment, outside and in.
Nearly my error, my mistake. It's back over the centre. It's yellow ball. It was my mistake, though. Yes, I know, but you touched it first, though.
When you're the referee and you have the whistle, it don't matter.
Yeah,
Yellow.
but he admitted the mistake and got it right.
Yes, indeed. Lewis. Well, it didn't look orthodox. It didn't sound orthodox, but it worked. And so the gap back to 14 points.
Plenty of time, 5 minutes remaining to play before three-quarter time, and again, the firepower. If Daryl Pierce or somebody gets out track for the South team, they'll be right back in it very quickly.
Hubbard and Leader in the backcourt now for the north side. So Rucker taking a very, very well-earned break. Hubbard, a hand came from Daryl Pierce. Davis almost lost it. Lewis has Pierce to his right. Three-point attempt, no. Goes instead to Colbert, who jams it.
Excellent pass from Pierce. Pierce had a very good three-point shot, passed it up for a much higher percentage shot.
So Pierce hassling Hubbard. Stelzer. Much more intensive defensive pressure now from the south side. Indeed, they need it. Hubbard goes baseline. That's a great pass to find Paul Kuiper. And another 2 points for the north side.
Paul Kuiper slamming it in. The pass made that. And at the other end, we saw Mark Davis streaming down the court, getting fouled, going in for a lay-in.
Robert Sibley comes in for Andre Moore. So both Moore and Rucker off the court to the north side. Maybe this is a chance for the south side to get a little closer.
Pretty hard to tell. The North has been able to move around its combinations, and really that margin has maintained itself. So I think that we'll see the South team probably will be able to determine what their best combination is. North, I think, will be able to continue with the 10-man rotation.
Mark Davis, 4 from 6 at the line. Stelzer. Sibley. Robbed of the ball by Lewis.
He's blue ball. You hit it out. You hit it out of his hand.
Billy Milden Hall had the position to make the decision.
A real popular one.
Yeah, it sounded like it. Hubbard. A weighted pass from Leader. Flips it out to Stelzer. Three-point attempt. Rims out. Hubbard gets in there first, just ahead of Leader. Kuiper, he called for that, but Colbert did a great job to intercept it. Lewis now. As the south side streams forward. Looked untidy again from Lewis, but it was effective. Davis couldn't get the ball in. Hubbard brings it forward. Sibley ahead of him, Leader to his left, and Stelzer.
We've seen some spectacular stuff here. Oh, the Benny Lewis has been picked out for the foul there. Both players racing towards the ball. But we've seen some fabulous jams. You can see Kuiper, I guess, marginally had control of the ball, but that was a tough one. That's probably one of those ones that the referee looks the other way and says, what contact?
Yeah. I bet Benny Lewis knows what contact.
So it was an unequal collision of mass, that's for sure.
So it's Paul Kuiper, who is shooting 1 and 1. He makes the first, he gets the second. And he is 1 from 2, now 1 from 3 at the line tonight. Lewis, Davis.
Still 13 points the difference. Still plenty of time, 3 minutes before the three-quarter time break. Crawford now over the top of Kuiper. Kuiper slow to come at him, and Crawford punishes him. Now 15 points, high score for the South team, James Crawford.
Rucker back on court for the north side. Dives to the baseline, comes back out. Kuiper, clever turn. Only found the rim. Daryl Pierce brings it forward now. Has Crawford to his right, Lewis to his left, gives it to the professor, who rims out. Stelzer settle things down. Rucker picks the pace up immediately. Can't make the two. Davis, Pierce, wore Stelzer from behind, and that'll be a Stelzer foul.
And Pierce will go to the line, the foul line to shoot 1 and 1. I'll tell you a funny thing about a shooter like Daryl Pierce. He really hasn't got on track shooting-wise, hasn't had many three-point opportunities. It's very helpful sometimes to stroll the line, get a good feel of the ball, get your rhythm by practicing on a foul shot. often you find a shooter like Daryl Pierce, who is a pure shooter, gets a chance to go to the line, he'll light up. But of course, it's rather demoralizing when you miss that foul shot.
Only has 2 points tonight. They've both been from the line. He's now 2 from 3. Scrappy under the basket again. By gee, they're doing it tough.
Push him out of court.
The desperation is all with the South team now, of course. They're doing a better job, I think, in defensively. But they're starting to pick up the foul count as well. Rucker that time getting the ball that bounced free. And you can see that Pierce has just chested him, nearly pushed him out of bounds. Rucker on the line shooting 1 and 1.
First foul, Daryl Pierce. Rucker rims out. So the South breathe again. Still 11 points down. Just under 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter. They trailed by 11 at quarter time and 10 at half time. So it hasn't moved off that all that much. Although it blew out to 15 points at one stage. Gee, that's a hot pass to Sibley. Kuiper, who wants it, he says. Rucker says, I'll take it, and makes 2 more.
20 points.
Well,
Of course, when you fall over, he lost the ball. 7.
Derek didn't enjoy that as much as he enjoyed the points.
Rucker up, the description was there, contact very minimal, but in sticking his feet forward, he caused Pierce to lose his balance. And again, we see Daryl Pierce with a chance to break that lock on his wrist.
So he has 2 points. And was here just a moment ago and missed the first. He's done it again. Lockett, though, grabs the rebound. Pierce tidying up. Oh, nice pass over the back of the head. Lockett, Crawford. Time to shoot, gets more up off the ground, off the glass for 2. Rucker bounce pass to Taylor, goes high up over his opponent, off the glass for 2 more.
16
Lockett.
to Taylor.
Colbert, up he goes. Will it go in? No, it won't. Dalton ensures that it goes back out to Taylor. And Rucker brings it forward. Just under 1.5 to go to three-quarter time.
South team missing a lot of easy opportunities. Now we see a breakaway from Pierce, 2 back. Locker trailing scores.
Well, they certainly worked out that offensive maneuver together very well.
Locker becomes the 5th South player to be in double figures.
Still 11 the difference. 1 minute left in the third quarter. 98 plays 87. McEachin. Taylor strong against Crawford. Pierce comes forward.
Great help that time behind by Colbert. They get Lockhart again in the open court. They don't call those charges in all-star games.
Lindsay Gaze and Brian Gorgon up on their feet. 2 coaches with the more conservative ties on the night. We'll have a look at the others later. Andre Moore, 2 more. There's a bit of a battle between Moore and Rucker as to who's going to be the most dynamic on the night. Ton up then for the north side. 100 plays 89. 20 seconds left till three-quarter time. Crawford couldn't make it work. Andre Moore takes a ride on Mark Davis's back.
No easy baskets.
They shake hands.
It's actually James Crawford very much off balance. I think he had to go further than he expected. Had a hard time zeroing in on that shot, but we saw Davis was in perfect rebound position.
So Mark Davis at the stripe. Shot 4 from 6 in his 12 points. And they really need him to make both of these. Whoops. Gee.
Foul shooting is just killing them.
The big man concentrates just that little harder. 5 from 8.
Well, 10 points the difference. They wouldn't be upset about that difference going into the last quarter. It's very gettable.
Rucker, about 5 seconds left. Heel will have to throw up a Hail Mary. That's three-quarter time, and we have a 10-point ball game, 100-90, and there's the bright tie of Brian Perth.
They're back. Those wogs out of work in the 1990 premiere of Acropolis Now. There's Mimo.
You help me now. How am I going to get into the guinea pig's book of records?
There's Jim.
I used to watch all the kids whose parents were Australian and wish I had what they had.
blonde hair and blue eyes.
No, 2 eyebrows.
There's Rick
I didn't have the nerve to make a move.
He's a love machine.
and good old Effie.
What about your reputation?
I don't have one.
What about mine?
You need one.
Acropolis Now plus a lower low starts 7:30 Thursday on 7.
You'd think an Ansett WA fare this cheap would mean we were skimping on something. Tickets this cheap could lead you to think we were cutting costs somewhere. And a flight this inexpensive might make you wonder just how we afforded it. But on Ansett WA's flexi fares to the Northwest, the only thing that's changed about our famous 6-star service is the price.
Okay, this is it. Enough of this kid stuff. I've gotta get back to Jax. Come on! Gotta get my head into new space. Gotta get myself to a real place. Gotta get back to the real taste of Hungry Jack's.
Every woman is an individual. That's why there's now a range of different Lux fragrances for every kind of skin.
Now there's a Lux all of my own.
The Lux Collection now understands your skin even better.
Hungry, Auntie?
Famished.
Me too. Ah, chunky for a punky. I knew I had one somewhere.
Heinz, the soup's most suitable.
Welcome back. It's money time as we go into the final quarter.
Literally.
The north side leading by 10, and there is some big money up for grabs tonight, Bill.
There's $10,000 to the winners and $5,000 to the losers, so not that they need any help. Lockhart, blocked out of the travel. Lockhart made a great steal, but went up and down like that with a couple players hanging on him.
Rucker. Dalton, Moore, McEachin outside him, but Moore says, no, I'll do it. And does.
Andre Moore has been extremely efficient. He's now has 20. Rucker has 20. For the two Americans from Brisbane have been very dominant in this game.
Simmons can't get it in. Rucker comes forward again. 2-on-2 with support coming. Rucker pulls up. Dalton has Rucker outside again if he wants to use him. Instead goes baseline to Taylor, who made strong position and wore the foul from Utah.
Whoa!
So the basket will stand and he'll get the bonus. Have a look.
Utah just a little bit late getting across, was looking to help out elsewhere. Made a good attempt to make sure that Taylor wasn't going to score, but Taylor had the strength to put it in anyway.
Well, if nothing else, he made it extremely tough for Norman Taylor.
Yellow got the ball, so we have to give it to blue.
You missed the call.
But I have to, no. You got the ball. I have to wait and see. We have to wait and see who gets the ball. No.
Dave Simmons was in there about 3 days too early. But the referee didn't blow it at first because he's got to see if the shot goes in.
Simmons was going in on the first free throw.
Well, there he goes again. This looks like a Harlem Globetrotter routine.
There we go
again.
Yeah.
It's giving him a good practice. Taylor's not unhappy about that because eventually he's going to score this foot.
Billy Mildenhall, he's tagged bigger blokes than that when he played football. Well, maybe not bigger blokes than that.
Not many.
Lockett. They still have the job ahead of them. 15 points down now. That's the biggest split of the night. Bring that back to 13 thanks to Dave Simmons.
In the backcourt from the South team, it's accumulated only 9 points. If we take Lockhart out of that, and that's just not enough. Rucker, backdoor, great pass from Darling.
Great vision from Brad Dalton. Mark Dalton, I should say. Utah. Crawford tried for 3. Moore. And Rucker comes forward again. McEachin left side. Dalton baseline, as is Norman Taylor. Tries to get Crawford off his foot. Crawford resisted the temptation the first time. Couldn't do it twice.
Our South team is really struggling now. They're making no inroads whatsoever, and the North team is looking more and more polished as the night goes on. Great move by Crawford in the open court. Lockhart with a 10-footer off the glass. Misses it. Uthoff there to snaffle it in. 11 points. The South will rise again.
15 points the split. 94 trails 109.
7 players in double figures for the South team, and they're still behind by that margin.
Rucker has made so many incisive runs. McKeechan floats over the top and makes 2 as easy as you like. So 17 points out now. Lockett goes for the layup. It's jammed by David Simmons. Played the trailer to perfection.
That was a great follow shot as the shot's missed. Look, it picks it up below the ring and guides it back up over the ring and puts it down. So Simmons, that's his second very impressive dunk.
I'd say he has the 2 best of the night so far.
I think so.
The first of the night and the last.
Sub.
That's
3-1.
Lady Knitting. How do you knit at a time like this, madam?
Just looks down when the whistle blows.
I guess that's right. Well, Simmons, I guess, our leader in the slam dunk competition at the moment. $500 on the end of that.
South team really going for a team of speed at the moment. They're going to have to press up, going for their middle-sized players with the exception of Simmons. And Simmons really has a cat-like quickness, but the difference with the North team, they've now got 3 players scoring 20 points or over. The leader is Rucker. He now has 24.
Hill. And the defensive pressure coming from the north side, so they're really taking it up to the south, even though they have this very comfortable lead. McKeechan, faced by Lockett, goes over the top. Down it goes. Gee, 115 to 96.
Well, this is the first rout that we've had in a Stars game that be almost impossible, I think, for the South team to come back. But we're liable to see a little bit more exciting action.
Some run and stun, perhaps.
Yeah.
Brian Curl, unmistakable in that tie. It has to be a bet to get somebody to wear a tie like that in public.
Well, I hope he wins, because it takes great courage to wear something like that in public.
He's building a reputation on his ties and his coaching ability.
Mark Davis just never gives up. He's such a hard blue-collar worker.
Taylor with a little referee coaching.
Good pass from Heel inside. Simmons has that emphatically swatted by Leader. I don't think Simmons knew that Leader was lurking around behind him. He thought he had an easy 2. Walker bringing it in from the side. There's the replay there. We can see Simmons doing it 360. Nearly turned around, handed Leader. Open court, 2-on-1. Rucker takes it himself. And there's another turnover. Lob pass to Moore. If he had slammed that, that would have gone into contention.
And we have a timeout with 8 minutes left in the game. 119 plays 98.
The new Mazda 323. It'll take you by surprise.
With the chop all summer long, we're gonna give it to you, boom, boom, boom. We're gonna fill you up while we cool you down. We're gonna rock, masters rock with the chop. Yeah, everybody knows the chocolate milk comes from a chocolate cow. We're gonna rock with the chop all summer long. We're gonna rock, masters chop. Let's rock, boom, boom.
Pick up, extend the defense.
Brian Gorgian and Lindsay Gaze, the coaches of the South Side.
Pick up the D. They need to really pick up the D. I heard that coming out of the huddle.
And they're losing at the moment by 21. I guess they might as well lose by 41.
They need some three-point shooters. There's been one three-point shot from the South team. That was from Shane Heel, and that's been it.
Crawford goes up high and makes 2. He has 19 for the night. 119 plays 100. Leader makes 3, and that extends the lead to 22.
I think the smell of cold, hard cash is well and truly in the nostrils of the North team now.
Lockett, Simmons drives to the basket, dishes off to McDaniel, and it all comes unstuck. Rucker, Moore baseline, Taylor behind him, finds Moore. Crawford is there to take it away. McDaniel outside him, that's where it goes. The options were there underneath the basket. He went himself, and it wouldn't go.
It's interesting with some of these players, the starters like Wayne McDaniel, he wouldn't be used to sitting this much and probably isn't used to coming in off the bench and then having to score immediately.
Oh, McKeechan, that's why they call him the Snake. Great steal. There's Leader outside him. McDaniel in front of him. And Moore wherever he wants to be by the look of it. Leader again. Up he goes. Almost impossible, the basket, but the follow-up was good from Moore. So 124 to 100 with half the final quarter gone. They're enough. Davis sends Crawford back down to the baseline. Lockett. McDaniel. Can't make it go. Just haven't found the range tonight, the south side. Rucker now taking things very, very easy.
He's played the most minutes out there, Derek Rucker, and I think that in the voting, he and Moore lead for the MVP in the game. I have no doubt about that. I think it's been Rucker's presence with the ball in his hand, the control that he's displayed, the penetration that probably gives him an edge in Andre Moore in that MVP race.
Well, the north side have also, without any doubt, played the better D tonight.
Yes. I think that's probably because they have more versatile players, small and large, and that gives them a different front that they can show, and they match up a little bit better that way.
Rucker, another of those incisive runs. 3 on 2, Lockett leads the way, and Ware's Leader on the way through with the hold. So for Mark Leader, I think that's his second foul. A guy who had a very short stint with the Perth Wildcats back in '85, did a tour to Bangkok and Malaysia.
With Jay Bremer as coach.
Indeed.
Some stories have emerged from that trip.
I still have a photograph of Jay Bremer wearing a skirt on that trip.
In the meantime, Andre Moore made a beautiful block on Simmons that time. There's an interested fan.
I think he had his money on South. Lockett. Rucker hassling him all the way. Got up high, did Rucker. Lockett got up higher. And it's Rucker who comes away with the ball. Moore on his left. Bounce pass is good.
Rucker and Moore, Rucker and Moore, Rucker and Moore. And it's really been their show. And haven't they worked together beautifully?
26 points, the difference. Too much to be a split. It is a rout.
You see Mark Leader trying to get in the path of James Crawford. Gets there a bit late. Comes in from the side. Pretty clear foul.
Third foul, Leader.
Second team foul on the North team. And there's 3 team fouls on the South team, but I don't think the one-on-one situation is going to aid the South team. They needed to get some outside shooters, and Rucker sits down. And
26 points he has. McDaniel. It's been a little quiet.
Again, I think it's that unusual role that he's asked to play, not playing 40 minutes out there. Well, 2 practices at it, doesn't get it the second time either, but is fouled and will go to the line to shoot 2.
You did right though. About the most time most of these fellows spend sitting down is on the plane across here. And to suddenly be asked to come off the bench is a very, very different role for the likes of Wayne McDaniel.
It certainly just gives you a different look, a different feel. You have plenty of time when you start at the game to work your way into the game. But when you're coming in short stints, you really feel the pressure's a lot higher because you may only get that one or 2 shots. You want to get them down.
13 points, Wayne McDaniel. The South side now has 101. They still trail by 25. Leader. Sibley, fast hands, Hubbard. Sibley again, hassled. Can't get the pass away. Hubbard picks up the scraps and pops one in for 2.
So Hubbard's got 12 points. Their backcourt has done well. Ruckert and Hubbard combined for 38 points. Lockert
Found a bit of clear air, went all the way through, created his own turbulence and made 2.
Well, it's exploited a miss about height in basketball, because it really is the team that has been shorter but quicker that is going to win this one.
It's a push, 2.
Kuiper was given a lot of space on the baseline before he eventually wore Mark Davis. And so he'll go to the line to shoot 2. The big fella from the Gold Coast. Makes the first.
1.
There's 2 from 4 from the stripe. That makes it 60% from the free throw line for Paul Kuiper. Lockett, 4.5 minutes left in this game. And the North about to take a 2-1 lead, you would certainly think, in the All-Star history. Davis.
Well, they're trying some three-pointers now. That's 3 three-pointers in a row, and none of them hit. But it's a day late and a dollar short.
Stelzer tries a 3 of his own. Kuiper had it stripped from him. Davis, oh, pretty, round the back. McDaniel pops it up over the top of Hubbard.
We've seen some great ball handling skills from the big fellas in this game. Some open court dribbling behind the back stuff. Crawford's done it well. Davis has done it well. It just shows what tremendous athletes there are out there.
The strong work off the ball then by Sibley. Stelzer pots a 3-pointer. And boy, doesn't that hurt the South Side. Tiny Pinder looking on. One wonders whether the South Side might have done better with Tiny Pinder out there. Hush my mouth.
Maybe they needed some small guys.
Crawford drives baseline and jams it.
Very close here. He's making it difficult. That was a tough dunk from James Crawford.
That's probably one of the toughest we've seen tonight.
Well, I have mixed thoughts now. I have to think about this.
Hubbard, Sibley combining in the backcourt. Just holding it up. Nice little piece of byplay between the pair. Almost travelled, but didn't. Checked his motion. McDaniel has Colbert on his left. Decides to go all the way. Won't work off the glass for him. Hubbard comes forward once again. Has Kuiper in front of him. Sibley alongside him. Hubbard again. Comes up to Colbert. Dalton. Kuiper at the high post. Hubbard again. Goes all the way. Ambitious pass. Pierce brings it forward.
Davis now working on Kuiper. Gets to the middle and banks it off the glass. As we say, they're playing this game right out to the final hooter with 2 minutes and 24 seconds remaining to play, though. Still a huge margin of difference, 133-109. Dalton. That's Stelzer working down the baseline. Colbert picks him up. Dalton driving and dishing out. Hubbard back forth. Good ball movement by the North team. They've been better with that all night long, and Stelzer finishes off. Chain of good passes got to the open man.
So 135 plays 109. Gee. Would not have expected this much of a difference before we came into tonight's game. Wayne McDaniel does his best to reduce the deficit a little. Stelzer brings it forward. We're inside the last 2 minutes now. Kuiper, turnaround jumper for 2, makes it 137-111.
13 points now to Kuiper. He's worked very hard around the middle. McDaniel all alone. Defensive breakdown as he jams it.
Great vision by the professor, Benny Lewis, to find him on the baseline unattended.
Daniel now with 19. Second leading scorer on the team behind Crawford's 21.
Hubbard thought about the 3, but saw Kuiper try the tomahawk. That would have quite get up as high as he wanted to.
That would have ranked right up there if it went.
Pierce for 3. Cold hands on Kuiper. Here's the chance to show off Paul. What can he do? Yep. Degree of difficulty wasn't great, was it?
No. Ring was intimidated, though.
Pierce, Lewis, works his way to the free throw line, gets it back off Dalton's body, hangs in the air. Eventually it's McDaniel who pops it up over the top, but it won't go. Colbert, there's another slam dunk. So we're inside the last 45 seconds. Have a look at Colbert. Goes up, unattended, and jams it. Back live, Sibley. Hubbard pops it up, almost makes two more, or three it was judged. Stelter tries for three, doesn't go. Slapped out by Pearce. 20 seconds left. Colbert, sort of a semi-alley-oop attempt, if you like.
He certainly was trying to give a McDaniel a lead for a slam, but the trouble is there's a defensive man that was too close to the shooter and too far away from the passer to make that work.
Dalton fairly happy. The North team indeed fairly happy. And the South side, I guess it's fair to say, haven't quite lived up to expectations tonight.
That's fair to say. Most thought that they'd win. They certainly didn't imagine that they would be down by this margin.
139 to 116 at the moment.
21 points now to Wayne McDaniel, so he and Crawford are leading scorers for the South team.
10 seconds left in the game. Hubbard, bounce pass finds Stelter, who tries another three. That would have really rubbed some salt into the wound if that had gone. McDaniel is going to try to finish it off. Pops it up over the top. It goes down for two. And so at the end of 48 minutes of very, very entertaining basketball, it's a 20-point win to the North All-Stars side, 139 to 119. And Phil Palmer, it certainly has been entertaining.
It has been entertaining. It wasn't the contest that we thought it was going to be, but there was a lot of athleticism on display. There's some tremendous play and tremendous passing. We'll now take a break and we'll be back later.
It's a big country, and it takes a big company to cover it.
You know, Dougie, FAI have over 1,700,000 policyholders in Australia.
That's big. Yeah, sure is. And they have over $1 billion in their claims reserve. Really big. I know, with over $3,000 million in assets. A record. That's to be a record.
Don't think so, mate.
FAI, the big insurer. Why don't you test them?
Okay, this is it. Enough of this kid stuff. I've gotta get back to Jax. Come on! Gotta get my head into new space. Gotta get myself to a real place. Gotta get back to the real taste of Hungry Jack's.
All summer long, we're gonna give it to you, boom, boom, boom. We're gonna fill you up while we cool you down. We're gonna rock, masters rock with the choc. Yeah, everybody knows the chocolate milk comes from a chocolate cow. We're gonna rock with the choc all summer long. We're gonna rock, masters choc. Let's rock, boom, boom.
If I only had just one kid to jump on me. Just one rally around for tea. Just one account to hold my pay. Just one account would make my day.
The One Account from Home Building Society. All your financial needs in one convenient account. If you haven't got a One Account, phone home.
If your home isn't insured with the RAC and you have a fire, a burglary, an appliance fuse, or break-fix glass, most insurance companies will charge you a hefty excess. RAC HomeGuard charges no excess on these claims, so all we do is fix it fast. $99 gives you $15,000 contents cover, and $110 gives you $50,000 cover on your home. So for total security, the right price, and no excess, call the RAC.
Now, the Mazda Ute is a more powerful proposition because now it has a fuel-injected engine with 22% more power. Plus, you get Mazda's exclusive 12-month unlimited kilometre warranty, which means you can treat a Mazda Ute like dirt and still remain covered. You get more from Mazda, and now you get 22% more power.
And welcome back to the Entertainment Centre. The post-game presentations are being made. We'll get to the awards in just a moment. Let's first, though, have a look at the quarter-by-quarter scores and recap this game. The North side led all the way through. They led by 11 points at quarter-time, by 10 at half-time and at three-quarter time, and a whopping 20-point lead at the end of the game. Bill, not much doubt about which was the better side.
No, they were, as you say, all game long, and they did it because they had a strong inside game and a very effective outside game. And I think that was the difference. There was no outside game from the South team. We look at the top scorers in there. Andre Moore, top scorer. He and Derek Rucker had a very good battle, I think, for the MVP. Probably Rucker a little bit better because he simply controlled the tempo of the game more.
Great understanding between them, though.
They worked very well together. Rucker also had good penetration to the basket as well as getting 26 points. Top scorer for the other team was Wayne McDaniel with 23.
Okay, and comparative stats. I guess there wasn't anything terrific to look at from the free throw line tonight, but there really wasn't a lot between the sides at halftime. When you get to the end of the game, there still isn't a lot between them, is there?
There's not a lot, but you do look, there's a marginal advantage as far as shooting percentage for the North team. What this doesn't show is how many times they took advantage of the turnovers, the 20 turnovers that the South team made. Of course, the assists there are a little bit higher for the North team, too. They got in the fast break lanes better.
Okay, well, we had to make the decision on the most valuable player. As you said, it was a toss-up between Derek Rucker and Andre Moore, and you've given it to...
Derek Rucker, I think, just for his control of the ball.
Everything he did was spectacular, wasn't it, tonight? I mean, he was the incisive runs that we talked about like this. I mean, he just did everything right.
And he had a passel of assists like that one to Moore. I just think that he had a better control of the game, although Moore could count himself somewhat stiff and not getting the award as well.
So Derek Rucker takes off the MVP. The other one that you had to pick, Bill, was the winner of the slam dunk. I'm not sure exactly how many we had tonight, but...
we had about 10.
9 or 10?
Yes, we had 10, but that David Simmons one really appealed to me. Under a lot of pressure, under a lot of traffic, that was a great one from Crawford as well. Even Derek Rucker got into the act as we spilled through the evening. More spectacular degree of difficulty, great, but not that much opposition. Colbert, again, a little bit of opposition.
Well, this one from Simmons brought it up from underneath the rim.
Two great ones from Simmons on that follow shot.
But
this
the one you went for?
I went for this one with James Crawford working off the dribble around defense and a powerful slam.
So James Crawford it is who wins the battle of the slam dunks, and all in all, despite the 20-point blowout at the end, Bill, a successful game.
Very successful. I think the Perth crowd were most appreciative of it. They're very excited, and we're looking forward to where the contest will be next year.
Any hints?
I don't know. Honestly,
you don't know, but we can assume it's now going to go around Australia for a while.
That's the purpose. It's a national competition. It's one of the jewels in the crowd, and we'd like the whole country the opportunity to see it live.
Okay, well, thanks very much for your company tonight. Carl Bruton shakes hands with some of the coaches in tonight's game, and NBL Chairman Mal Speed in the background there. It's been a great night at the Entertainment Centre. Once again, thanks very much for joining us. On behalf of Bill Palmer, this is David Christensen. A very good evening to you all.
The 1990 Hungry Jacks NBL All-Stars was brought to you by Mazda, the Swan Brewery, HBF, and Hungry Jacks.
Proudly brought to you by Hungry Jacks.
You